Hey. I've kind of forgotten how to do this because I have been having kind of a vacation right now. So I haven't been as active as I would have wanted to. But I mean, I have seen a lot of cool stones during this time that I've been away. So I'm happy. So, episode 5, I think. Is it 5? It is 5. So I even went over to Östergötland 1 week or 2 ago to see Rökstenen, like the big runestone with a lot of runes. Like, it was so amazing seeing it. Like, it was covered, like the top and the sides and both of the, like, you know, I'm making no sense, but if you visualize like the stone in 3D, like this was covered, the top was covered, like it was so cool. You have to see it. You have to visit it. If you ever go to Sweden, visit the Rökstenen. Anyway, that's enough about my wonderful vacation trips. You're here for the episode, okay? So, so are you ready for first on this channel? We are not looking at one stone today, we're looking at 2. 202 to be exact. We are looking at 2 runestones though. I'm going to make that clear. 202 runestones, I'd be down for that. I would never leave. I would live there forever and ever and ever. I wouldn't even feel bad about it. These runestones are so very special, and one of them is very close to my heart. I'm not going to lie. Like, maybe that's crazy having historical objects close to your heart, but I'm a nerd. What can I say? I am a nerd. That is who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This stone is so very close to my heart, and I think it's amazing that I get to speak about why and how I feel about it and what I think about it. So, as always, I'm super excited. So I hope you guys like it, and yeah, enjoy. And I'll talk to you later. Hej då! I would like you to imagine that all of this technology went away, and all pens and papers and all of the alphabets and letters you have ever known was just gone. Now imagine that your ability to speak to a bigger amount of people only came once in your lifetime. Only once. What would you tell? How many days have you forgotten this far in your life? What will you never forget? What is the most important thing you want to tell others about your life? I want you to keep that thought in your mind while we continue on with the episode. Today we are going to Furliness Church, Herrljunga County, Västergötland, Sweden. This church is from the early medieval times. It has been built on since then. According to a protocol written during the 1700s, the church was in such a bad shape that both priests and congregation were said to be risking their lives going inside of it. So it wasn't looking good. However, this is one of those medieval churches that they decided to keep around. There are some objects within this church that is still from the early medieval times. It looks absolutely stunning on the inside nowadays. There is no trace of that this church has ever been in a bad condition. We all know that I am not here for this lovely church. Just outside of the gates of this very small church building stands not only 1, but 2 runestones. They make a lovely pair, but they are so very different. The first thing that you notice is the feel to them. One is very pointy-ish, and the other has a more rounded style to it. Both in how the stones are shaped, their colors, and the style of the runes. For simplicity, we will take them one at a time. We will start off with the left one.
This 160 centimeters tall beauty is made out of dark granite. During the 1700s, it was located at the cemetery, but was then moved to the floor of the church. During the later 1800s, it was built in and was completely hidden. 1946, it was found anew and was restored and raised. It has been dated to the years around 980 to around 1015. Where this stone has been located before, we don't know. The runes looks very professional and are deeply carved. These runes are very clearly from the later Viking Age. They say Osfrithur Risti Stin Thonsi Eftir Oskir Ra Kuthan Trekk Buta Sin. Åsfrid raised this stone after Asker, a very honorable man, her husband. I tend to wonder about love when we talk about these times. What was love during this time, and if Åsfrid raised this stone out of love or duty, or maybe both? I would love to know who Asker was to her and what she was to him other than just husband and wife. Somewhere in these runes lies a deeper story of two people's lives, fates, and relationship. When did they meet? How old did they get to be with each other? It is truly fascinating, and if I'm not careful, I will lose myself in these daydreams and thoughts. So let's move onwards with the second stone. This stone looks completely different. It is, however, made during the same time as the other one, and even has the same height as the other one. It is made out of a lighter type of stone and has a completely different look to it. As long as this stone has been known, it has been inside or outside of the church. No one really knows anymore exactly where it was brought from. Even if we don't know that much about this stone's background story, it is indeed very special. And to an untrained eye, it might be hard to spot at first glance, but this stone is one of a kind that I have seen of its sort. Let's read it and I will explain to you. Bun Risti Sin Tho Sun Sin Hatha Kuthan Tirik. Again, for an untrained eye, and to someone who's not as obsessed with these stones, everything still seems to be in order, right? But I can assure you that this is indeed not the case. Björn raised this stone, and then it's missing a bit, so it's continue on to his son, a very honorable man. So yeah, that's lovely, MooseLady. What is so special about this? We have heard this type of sentence before. Well, what is very different is that Björn has spelled horribly wrong and has even skipped over 1 or 2 or 3 runes in some of the words. Don't get me wrong, there are absolutely differences in how some stones use runes, And there are different dialects during these times to take in consideration while translating. But this isn't that. We have these two stones from the same time and probably from around the same area, and still they are so very different. The translation of this one had to be somewhat assumed by experts based upon previous knowledge because it was so misspelled. Then I will have to ask the question, why is that? Let me take you back to the line of thought I talked about at the beginning of the episode. If you had one opportunity to tell anything about your life to a larger audience of people, what would it be about? A disclaimer: this is my humble theory, and I base this upon my own experience with runes and also with actual human beings and their nature. Remember that during this time it was a line of work and a craft and an art form to carve these stones. The first stone, which Åsfrid has raised for her husband, might be an example of this type of hired work. Or maybe Åsfrid just knew very well how to express herself through words. Some people have a hard time writing and expressing themselves, even in today's world with autocorrect in all of our technology. What if Björn lost his son? And this is his only time to speak. What if he did not want to hire a carver to make these runes, but took it upon himself to do it, as a last act of love and honor towards maybe his only son? What we are seeing on this stone might actually be an expression of pure love. No matter how misspelled it is, I find it absolutely beautiful. If this was the case, I wonder about the last time he saw his son's stone. If he held his hand upon it, did he cry? Was he thinking about the first time he held his tiny body in his arms, and the last time he said, "I'll see you another time," and that never happened? Nothing in this world is certain, that's for sure. Let us take a little walk while we are still here and go to a very interesting place where stones also play a huge part. Walking out here is so beautiful. Just cross over the bridge and keep on out on a small country road, and you will come to a hill named Nikla Bakken. And when you walk on top of it, you will be greeted by an absolutely fascinating sight. There are a lot of huge stones standing up here. The first time I came here, it was totally on accident, and I am happy that I happened upon this place. I can't explain why, but I just felt a drawing towards going here the first time. It was a strange experience for sure. This is the county's biggest grave field. It is from the later part of the Iron Age. It contains about 200 ancient relics. Some of these stones are over 3 meters tall. It is very impressive how people back then were even able to raise them. There are 18 mounds, 150 stone formations, 2 tridents, and 30 raised stones. All of these are markers for graves. During the excavation of some of these graves, they found burned bones, pottery, jewelry, board game pieces, and flint. The burned bones show that these people cremated their dead, a common practice during these times. This site is absolutely breathtaking. Who were these people? Imagine all of the rituals that has been taking place up here. It really leaves you with a feeling of wonder when you walk around these huge menhirs. Or as we say in Swedish, Baute-stenar. Furliness is a place I'll keep with me. There are so many questions and so much mystery. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. I thank you so much for going to this very special place together with me. The last question for today is, what did the stone... Wait, I'll have to modify that a bit. What did the stones say to the moose? All 202 of them. Today, they told me that the purest form of beauty in this world doesn't come from perfection. Some things can be absolutely faulted and still absolutely beautiful at the same time. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Hej då!